The oral defense begins with a prayer led by the candidates or researchers. Following that, the advisor will formally introduce the researcher and the thesis title to the panel. The advisor will also introduce and acknowledge the panel members. From the panel, a chairperson will be selected, and among the researchers, secretary will be chosen to take note of all corrections and recommendations made by the panel members. It is highly recommended to record the questions and answers during the defense. After the introduction, the researchers will start a 20-minute oral presentation, highlighting the significant aspects of the conducted research. This presentation should cover the essential parts of the thesis, including title of the thesis, research problem and its background, alignment of the topic to the research agenda and approval of the ethics committee, theoretical conceptual framework, methodology, respondents, questionnaire. In the oral defense, the researcher must use the provided PowerPoint slide presentation or poster presentation from the research department. All presenters should wear a name tag. The panel of examiners will begin asking questions to the researcher. They may provide comments and suggestions to improve the research. The panelists who were present during the proposal defense should also be present during the final oral defense. The researchers should be open to the questions and comments raised by the panel members and avoid becoming confrontational. The purpose of the oral defense is to receive helpful feedback and constructive criticism, which can lead to an improved research output. The researchers and advisor should follow the suggestions and recommendations given by the panel members. The researchers should have a thorough understanding of the thesis's scope, content, and organization, enabling them to effectively address the panel's comments, criticisms, and questions. The panel examination may last anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, depending on the number and depth of questions, comments, and suggestions regarding the thesis. Content of the research paper. The panel will evaluate the oral defense using the following criteria. A. The research problem, 15%. Significance and contribution of the research to the concerned field. Relevance, strength, and utilization of theories, concepts, related literature to the entire research work. B. Methodology, 10%. Implementation of research design, sampling and research procedures, development of an instrument for data gathering, use of statistical procedures in data analysis, data presentation and analysis interpretation, 20%, logical presentation and summary of findings, quality and accuracy of data presented in tabular form with discussion, interpretation, implication of findings, consistency of interpretation with data presented and analyzed. Summary, conclusion recommendations, 15%. Quality of summary, to include statement of problem, method, and findings. Consistency of recommendations with findings or conclusions. Attainability and practicability of recommendations. Content of the paper for feasibility study. The problem and its setting, 5%. Explanation of the significance and contribution of the research to the relevant field. Assessment of the relevance, strength, and application of theories, concepts, and related literature throughout the entire research work. Market aspect, 10%. Identified the target market and its segments. Clearly explained the factors influencing demand, supply, price, and competition. Provided projections for demand and supply, including an evaluation of any unmet demand or excess supply. Presented the associated marketing costs. Reached a well-founded conclusion regarding the feasibility of the market. Technical aspect, 10% identified, and provided a clear explanation of the specific technical requirements, focusing on the process, technology used, and equipment torque machines involved. Presented and explained the basis for the technical specifications used. Clearly outlined the technical costs associated with the project. Reached a well-founded conclusion regarding the technical feasibility of the project. Market aspect, 10%, identified the target market and its segments. Clearly explained the factors influencing demand, supply, price, and competition. Provided projections for demand and supply, including an evaluation of any unmet demand or excess supply. Presented the associated marketing costs. Reached a well-founded conclusion regarding the feasibility of the market. Organization and management assessment, 10%. Specific organization and management requirements were identified and explained. Focus on type of organization, legal requirements, pre-operating activities, and labor requirements. Basis for organization and management requirements were presented and explained. Clearly presented the organization and management costs. Financial assessment, 10%. Required financial assessments are made. Focus on projected income statement, statement of financial position, cash flow, ROI. There is complete data on which to base a thorough analysis, note, with acceptable assumptions and must be consistent with the costs stated in market, technical, and organization aspects. Analysis of financial performance is with valid and relevant supportive detail, correct calculations, and appropriate interpretation. Socioeconomic aspect, 5%. Clearly established a sound socioeconomic contributions. Summary, conclusion, and recommendation, 5%. Organization, form, layout, proper grammar, correct spelling, punctuation, third-person objective. View, professional writing, and syntax. APA format is followed particularly on tables, figures, citation of source. Oral presentation, ability to express ideas clearly. 10%, ability to comprehend questions and provide intelligent and sensible answers, explanations. 10%, attitude towards comments, chart, suggestions of the panel. 10%, clear and effective use of presentation materials. 10%. Once the panel is content with the researchers' responses and all comments and suggestions have been acknowledged, the advisor will ask the researchers to step out of the room temporarily. This allows the panelists to have a discussion and reach a decision on the overall grade for the thesis before announcing it. Passed with no revision. Passed with minor revision. Passed with major revision. Redefense. The researchers may choose to serve food and drinks to the panelists as a kind gesture, and they may also give a token of appreciation to show gratitude for their services. However, this is optional. If a member of a group or the entire group of researchers is unable to attend their oral defense, they must seek permission from their advisor to reschedule it. The advisor will then check the availability of the original panel members to conduct the oral defense. In the case where a group receives a redefense grade, the advisor will coordinate and check the availability of the panel members for scheduling. A second oral defense. Payment for the panel members should be made through the Research and Development Center. The thesis will be revised based on the suggestions provided by the panel members and undergo language editing by the PATS languages. Department. The researchers must also obtain a statistician form from the research department. The final version of the thesis should be submitted in 3 hardbound copies for the library, advisor, and research department respectively. Additionally, a soft copy should be submitted to the advisor. The thesis will be signed and approved by the advisor, panel of examiners, and the chairperson head of the department.